not deep enough.
Oh, they don't fit, huh? Uh-oh. Staring at the camera.
Jelly, this is when you tell everyone hello. You're the OG of the group.
Say what's up, Lite Brite Nation.
Peanut's not. Spending the morning with some puppy snuggles. We really need to get out to the shop.
Got some bouncy things to do.
Hopefully gonna work on the LJ in a little bit.
You guys ready?
You guys ready? You guys wanna go?
You wanna go outside?
You wanna go work? Oh, God.
I guess we're going outside.
I've never seen her do that before.
Uh-oh. You ready to go?
Okay,
All
right. Someone's excited to work on the LJ. Let's go. That's the center.
Mock it a center. That looks about right. But honestly, I don't really care about the center of the vehicle as long as the links are all centered and the mounts are equal on both sides of the axle at this point, because God only knows if this thing is square, but we're gonna make it as square as we can.
All right, so we got the links all tacked up. They're in the spots they need to be in.
Yeah.
According to this one.
Yeah, it measures out pretty good. It looks pretty square. Like I said, God only knows if anything on this thing is actually square, but it is, it's in the chassis pretty square. It's got a nice pinion angle at full droop, and which is one of the problems I had before. Whoever set it up before, they had a really bad pinion angle in it, so it had this limit strap to the rear diff, so we were losing like this much down travel because it was so bad. It was so bound up at full droop. So we're probably gonna have to get longer ones of these, but it should actually move now. It should use the whole rotation here. So we're gonna pop this thing off and
Get to welding?
Beck's gonna weld it all up. I know I've said it before, I don't always film everything that we do in the shop. And this is one of those times where I wasn't gonna film because it was just gonna be a quick job, you know, like all of them, including the bouncer. That's why it's here. That was supposed to be a maintenance the bouncer and get it out of here for Trail Hero last year, and that didn't work out. So those of you who know me, I don't just do off-road. I come from a world of racing and all kinds of other stuff. I'd like to officially introduce you to my 2000 Audi S4. Yeah, I got this car a couple of months ago, and it was just gonna be the daily, you know, so we just had something to drive around. Had a lot of issues when I got it, a lot of boost leaks, some ignition issues, which I fixed all of those. And then yesterday morning we were getting ready to go to the gym and it spit a belt out. No problem, I will get a belt. Well, it wasn't just a belt. That, my friends, is the tensioner, and she is pretty whooped. No bearings, so that was cool. And if you know anything about the Audi, you have to take the whole front of the car off to access the front of the motor, which is not really a bad deal. It does come off pretty quickly, and then you have full access to everything. Now, this is the fourth Audi I have owned. This is a B5. I've owned B6s and B7s, and this one is a twin turbo 2.7. She runs really well now because everything is fixed, including that tensioner, and she's got a new belt on her. So we're gonna get this thing back together today while Beck finishes up the axles on the bouncer. We'll get them loaded and painted up. I'm gonna get this thing back together today because I miss it already. So that was my last night of, oh, let's just put a belt on it. I should be able to get that tensioner out of there. No, you can't. You can't. You can't. I tried to take the alternator out of the bottom. No, doesn't work. Just take the front of the car off. It was so much faster. It's gonna take me maybe a half hour to put it back together, and we'll continue our day. make sure in the intercooler ducting that you get the top of the flap back up here. A lot of times they'll fold down and you'll block off half of your intercooler because this rubber flap will go under this and then it like ends up like this and it cuts off all that intercooler space. So you just gotta get that flap tucked up on both sides. This side, when I took it apart, was really bad. This whole flap was like hanging down and it was really bad. So just get a little bit more airflow now, and then that'll just plug into the fog light once I put those back in. Almost done. There's 2 bolts, one in there that go up. There's 2 on the back side of the fender, and really that's all that holds the front bumper on. And then we can put the fog lights back in, put these little grill covers back on. We'll slap the headlights back in it. Oh, and I have to plug all this in. This is everything. This is both the fans, the auxiliary fan, the AC pressure switch. All this stuff is right here. And it all goes right into this clip. They all clip in there real nice. That's one thing Audi did. Like, it seems daunting, but it's really not. As you saw, it's a couple of bolts. There's these 2. There's one down here on the side. Drain the coolant, pop the 2 coolant lines off, unplug the AC, and this whole front end will just basically come off. And then you have full access to the whole motor. That's one reason why I like the Audis. It seems, like I said, it seems daunting, but you can seriously take it off in probably 30, 45 minutes if you really knew the process. Well, let's keep going. And there you have it. It's all back together. It doesn't take very long. A couple of upgrades I've already done to this, if you would like to know. It already does have R8 coils in it. I converted this to the R8 coils. I got rid of the 2 injector pack or coil packs that sit up here that control the stock ones. You get rid of them, you rewire this, and you run R8 coils in here. Much hotter spark. It's kind of like running LS coils on just about anything else if you want to convert something to LS coils, because they're much hotter. So it's got new plugs in it. Changed a bunch of the elbows out in this thing. Had a lot of boost leaks, but yeah, other than that, she's pretty clean. The interior is pretty rad. All black, no rips in the seat. I mean, she's pretty clean. Everything does work. 6-speed. It's got a new clutch in it. I mean, I like it. She goes like hail. I do have some things coming to get rid of this gap right here. And I do have new wheels. They're up there hiding. I also straight piped the exhaust, and you're thinking, oh, straight pipe. It is twin turbo, so the exhaust is not very loud. It just has a nice tone to it. It's all stainless, 2.5. There it is. That's my new, that's our new daily. This is what Beck and I get around with, go back and forth to the gym and stuff. And soon as that's done, we'll get Phoebes in here and start building the Land Rover on the channel like nobody has ever seen. But let's get back to the bouncer.
It's not deep enough.
Oh, they don't fit, huh? I wonder why. They don't fit at all, huh? Uh-oh. Let me do some research. Why that doesn't fit. Okay, so after some research, this is a 9.5 semi-float rear, and the kit of parts that I put together is for a full float 10.5 14-bolt rear. So now we have to figure out how to change the rotors to fit on these big axle ends. I have some stuff laying around. Let's see what fits.
These will work on the front though, right?
Yeah, those are front rotors. And if you have a full float, 10.5 14-bolt, apparently those fronts will fit on the back side of those like a drum. And then you just use the front caliper, and then you have fronts all the way around. But apparently that doesn't work on a 9.5. So let me see what we have laying around. All right, I think we figured something out.
We just stole the rotors off of my Dodge axles over there, and they have the same bolt pattern, and they are relatively the same size.
Yes.
The only difference is this is a half tier and this is a full tier. No, they do kind of look like cakes, especially this one. So this one is deeper, so all we have to do is relocate the bracket to accommodate the deeper dish here.
Awesome. Well, let's get these fitted up.
Hey, you just had a birthday yesterday.
Shh, don't tell anybody. All right, so they go on almost all the way. Does it go on all the way? No, it stops right there.
Yeah.
No, it stops right there.
Am I hitting?
I think we have to.
Oh, we gotta do some.
We might have to do some clearance. We might have to.
Yeah, trim.
Yeah, we're gonna have to grind this down just a little bit to get it to fit all the way inside of that. All right, so in order to turn this into a lathe, Beck's gonna spin the pinion, and then I will grind on that, and it should turn it into a homemade lathe.
All right, you guys, so the pebble bouncer is now on hold for the time being because we are waiting on some parts to come in. We need a bearing and some brake lines, and then after that comes in, we can go ahead and button everything up. So for today, we are moving on to the LJ. The best days.
You gotta keep it moving, My God, this thing is gonna be bad. This is what we're working with. At the front end, kind of held up. We still got to build this mount, but this mount is going to go with the winch tray that we build. It'll have a mount on the back of it to hold this up. So we haven't gotten that far yet. And then this whole tube we cut out. So we'll cut that tube out later. So let's see if we can get some shocks in here. We're going to let the nitrogen out of the shocks and bottom them all the way out, and then build some towers. So I didn't want to weld with a shock, one of the Bilsteins in there. So we just whipped this thing up out of spare parts. It's 25 inches eyelet to eyelet, and then this represents like where the spring would be at the bottom, and well, this is the bottom actually, and that's the top, so that we can get it in there, get it mocked up without
damaging the nice Bilsteins.
Yep. The nice ones, yeah. This is gonna go in there right now as a mock-up. So we spent a couple hours on the Jeep. We did a lot of mocking up and trying to figure out ride heights and stuff, which we'll explain to you guys later. We were trying to go through some things, but it's getting late. I like to tinker around in the shop on my own time, but this is kind of like on my own time, but you're gonna watch this one because we got the dually in here. A while back, I may or may not have boo-booed it just a little bit, but Kevin did too, so I'm gonna fix Kevin's little boo-boo, and let me show you what we did. All right, first off, Kevin was backing up to the gooseneck, and I mean just nicked this and rolled this. I mean, it didn't barely hit the plastic, but it definitely caught this panel and folded her under a little bit. So I'm gonna tap that out, make it look like it never happened. And then if we go into the bed, a while back, I took her to LA, and let me tell you, the LA freeways suck. And I lost the gooseneck, kind of came off. May or may not have put a hole in the floor right there. So we're gonna get in here and tap all this out, probably weld a little piece in here and try to make this floor look like it doesn't have a hole in it. But first, I'm gonna take care of that. Totally looks better than all jacked up, so that one's fixed. Doesn't even look bad, really. Really can't tell now. I mean, there's some marks, but I mean, heck, there's marks all over this thing. So now I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna pull that ball out and start cutting some of this plastic out of here and see See how bad I boogered up the bed. All right, so it's really not that bad. It's got a little crease right here, which I think I can get out. I tried to hammer some of this out, but it's breaking out, which means it's like, it's not 50-52, it's probably 60-61 or 70 something. So what we are gonna do is I'm gonna go cut a piece of aluminum and bend some of these ribs into it. I'm gonna see if I can duplicate this and how well it comes out. And if it does, then I'll cut this section out and I'll weld in a new piece and then re-rhinoline it, and it should be good to go. So let's go cut some aluminum. Now that we got our piece sheared out, it's time to make some marks and some scribe lines and pop some bends in this thing. And almost. Voila, she fits in there pretty good. Notch that corner, mark it all up, and we'll go ahead and cut that out and get that prepped and ready to go. So I'll go get the cutoff wheel now and we'll slice this all up. All right, so the initial fit up looks pretty good. I think what we're gonna do is just bust out the miller and we'll just start tacking this guy in and walking it around and massaging it to fit. Yeah, I know there's a little hole here, but I'll fill it with something. So we'll just get in here and start tacking it up and getting it to fit really nice. I'm in no way a professional TIG welder. I've done a couple of aluminum projects, but I know enough to be dangerous. All right, well, I mean, it looks pretty good, right? It's gonna take quite a few more coats, so I'm gonna end this video now. We'll revisit this in the future when I get it done, but it's gonna take way too long to finish this video, and we have more stuff to do anyway. I will show you maybe in the end of the next video or something, but for now, thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe and share, and remember, you can get all your Lite Brite merch and decals at litebritstudios.com. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Wow, that was a good one.
I think there's too much in here going on for her. Look at this side one.
You could literally toss it back and forth there. Come here, Jelly. Jelly. Oh. Oh. She's determined. Kill it. Get it. Get it. Whoa, good girl.
My jaw hurts. You would change the balloon all morning. It doesn't get old, does it?
It's over here.